Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to probably the smallest FPV brushless racer from Eachine. And this machine is the DustX58. It comes in BNF version. Actually only a FreeSky in D8 mode is supported. This machine is nothing else than the 35-gram FPV brushless racer. It's just amazing. So let's discover this new bundle. Okay, so it comes with this regular box. No time for Eachine to perform some special packaging. Okay, and immediately what you will be able to find, this is an USB charger ending with a micro LED connector to charge the one cellule LiPo 450 mAh with 20C as discharge rate. And if you want to find some spare model, I will give you the exact dimension in millimeters. So it's more or less 57 by 18 by 7.5 millimeters. Okay, so it should offer around 3 to 4 minutes. We will check that in practice. A small bag with some spare props, 3 blade editions. Okay, I will give the exact dimension, but there are approximately some 40 millimeters model. So as you can see, for half of it you have 20 millimeters. 3 blades. I don't have the exact pitch, but should be at least around 30. Okay, and each of them weighs 0.3 grams, and the whole section is 1 millimeters. Okay, if I'm not wrong. So 2 different colors. That's great for lost flight condition. Finally, here is the quadcopter. Very compact, very tiny, and I will immediately compare with the Eachine X173 in order to give you the comparison in size. So it's even smaller despite the presence of the prop guard. Look at the distance. It's very, very small, and the size of the motor are so tiny. So the motors are some new type reference at 0703 and on to spin at 20,000 kV. So don't expect miracle. Don't try to plug it for in 2S setup. Motor will probably die immediately. Okay, but it's so tiny. I'm impressed. Let's give the weight standalone without the battery. Okay, I will remove the lens cap, and we have 25 grams. Okay, maybe if I center a little bit better, 25.5 grams. Let's add the battery, and we reach 36.3 grams. It's just amazing for a brushless quadcopter. So let's compare, for example, with this one standalone. It's almost the same weight of the X73S, but with the battery. It's just impressive. And if we can compare, for example, with a classic brushed tiny whoop clone, you will see that it's just slightly more bigger. Look at that. Impressive. Really impressive in terms of size. It's really equivalent. Okay, I'm really impressed by this size of this brushless motor. So what we have for electronics, we have on top the classic 48 channel 600 TVL CMOS sensor. Look, the hub tilt angle, we have something around 10-15 degrees. That's great to perform some more aggressive flight. Okay, 2 buttons here. The first one is, if shortly pressed, is used to mirror or flip the image, and if you long press on the top one, you will be able to select either NTSC or PAL format. Be aware, NTSC format is the default setting. The rear button is used to select the current waveframe inside the selected V-band, okay, among the 8 frequency, and if you long press on it more than 3 seconds, you will select the current band among 6. So 6 bands are supported. Obviously the racer band is. So on the mini tower, you will be able to find the flight controller board, F3 ARM core based. It's a tiny flight controller, okay, with Betaflight 3.1.5 pre-installed. That's great. And on the front left, you will be able to find the micro USB port, okay, and with, okay, if you can be aware, you will have to little bit bend the arm to install the micro USB connector, okay, so just bend like this, and after you will be able to connect the micro USB port. Be aware, the first time if you plug directly on your computer board, nothing will happen in Betaflight, okay. You will need to power the battery in the same time to access to the Betaflight configuration settings, okay. So be sure to plug before the battery, and you will see as soon as I will plug it, you can hear a small beep. The light of the FPV IO camera is turned on. The blue on top is to select the current wave band, and the green is the current wave freq. Only one small light for the receiver. Red actually is blinking because the transmitter is off, and I will have to perform the binding procedure, and a small blue here for the flight controller. Nothing had. Okay, so let's turn off, and what we have on the bottom side, we have this board, which is a 4-in-1 BLE PCB ESC board. 4 ampere is supported, up to 5 in peak, and a D-Shot 600 is supported. That's great. So it's really a concentration of last technologies. That's pretty great. So let's give some dimension about the carbon element. We have the lower plate here, okay, and this one got exactly, if I can take it correctly, around 1 millimeter. Yes, we have 1 millimeter of thickness for the lower plate, and the same for the upper plate, 1 millimeter. Okay, if I'm not wrong, okay, that's the minimum we can have, but we could maybe expect 1.5, but it will be okay if you keep the flight probe guard installed on it. I'm not afraid to break it, even if the spine is pretty thin, okay. And it's explaining probably the ultra lightweight to have such tiny thin carbon frame. The distance between motors, I can give you it, is definitively around 50, okay, like this, the center, 58, so the weight, the name is DustX58 is correct. So really impressed. And on the lower side, okay, and I will show you here, we can find on the left side, more on the lower left side, we can find a tiny bind button here, okay. I hope you will be able to see this used to bind your FirSky receiver. So you will need to keep it pressed while powering the system to enter into the bind mode. Is classic for the any FirSky in G8 mode. Okay, so now it's time to show you how to bind it. Okay, so let's show the binding procedure for the built-in FirSky D8 receiver, and the difficulty is to keep pressed the bind button here while answering the micro USB connector of the battery. You cannot use the USB port to power the flight controller. Nothing happens if you are using the USB port. So I will pre-insert the micro USB connector with my left hand like this, and try to see where is the binding button. Okay, it's around here, okay, close to the, I will click on it. You should hear a click. Not sure. It's hard to do everything simultaneously. Press the bind in the radio. If everything is okay, the receiver should stop to flash. Let's check that, and if I turn off everything, the light should become solid. So Let's turn off the quadcopter. Let's turn off the radio. I will power on the quadcopter and check. And I don't have, yes, I have the band. So let's check the transmitter telemetry if we have some information. So good news, we have some RSSI, okay, and probably the EV battery, if the wire is connected, should be maybe monitored. Okay, I have AD1 maybe display, nothing in AD2, so not sure the battery should be monitored, but the RSSI should be here. So in terms of the 2.4 GHz antenna, this one is laid parallel to the board, so maybe to extend your FPV range, you have, thanks to a tweezer, try to install it more vertically, okay, like this, gently. So push it back like this. Be gently on the soldering job, and then like this, it will be the propagation of the 2.4 GHz should be much better. Just one remark about the IO camera support is 3D printed, so the big open question how solid it would be, but I think will be okay. It's pretty light, and the IO camera is currently taped laterally on the left and the right side, so to be jailed into this one with the nominal 15 degrees of for the Apple tin. So now what I want to show you is the default Betaflight configuration and the BLLE configuration. So don't be wrong. To access to the Betaflight configurator, you will need also to power the battery while plugging your micro USB cable into your PC. Don't forget to plug first the battery. Okay, so let's start to check the default Betaflight configuration. So as I said previously, you will need to power the LiPo battery to be able to access to the Betaflight. Okay, so as soon as you power your battery, the COM port will be available. Okay, you will be able to connect. Okay, now you are in the Betaflight. Let's check immediately the current version installed. So we have a tiny fish flight control board with Betaflight in version 3.1.5, so almost the last version. So let's check the different elements. So the current setup. Okay, you will need probably to recalibrate accelerometer. In terms of port, we have the UR2 turned on probably for the default built-in PSK receiver, and you have also MSP turned on for UR3. In terms of configuration, we have a quad X structure. Beware, the board is aligned with the rudder angle of minus 135 degrees, and we have D-Shot 150 turned on by default, so probably you can turn on D-Shot 150 without any problem. Okay, so what other settings are turned for in terms of receiver? As expected, we have a serial S-bus for the PSK receiver. Okay, so serial is turned on, the VBAT is turned on, you can see the current voltage, so that's great. So it should be displayed in the RSSI and transmitted by the telemetry. The PID loop is set to 2 kilos, maybe can be pushed to 4 kilos. The CPU load is not yet fully saturated, so we can probably push further. No extra mode are turned on, so probably we need to turn on the telemetry. Okay, but let's continue to check the default settings. Phase shift drop. The PID tunings is currently, this is the default Betaflight setting. No change in terms of rates or still rates of PIDs, as well as the level strengths. Nothing is done, so we will fly with the default settings. Let's check now with the transmitter. Okay, so let's check. And for my personal radio, we have the inversion of the channel, so I will apply more this channel mapping. And what I can see that the RSSI seems to be available in AUX5, so that's great. So if you want maybe to export some information into an OSD, but it's not the case here, you can map your built-in OSD to this value, but it's not very useful, but it will be useful for your telemetry information. In terms of flight mode, what we have by default, we are flying in acro, so be aware when your flight mode switch will be in the up position in 0 value, you will fly by default in acro. Then when it's in the middle, you will fly in 6-axis stabilization horizon flight mode, and when it's down, you will fly with the full assisted 6-axis flight mode. So I would say that acro and angle are inverted. No air mode turned on and no beeper. There is no beeper, but there will be a way to emit some beeps in a few instances. So all other settings are normal. So what we will do now is some little optimization. Okay, so what I will do is to turn on the D-Shot 600. Okay, fine, and a little bit increase the PID loop. Okay, and to turn on the telemetry. Okay, to be sure to eventually to export the D battery. Okay, so now let's check the current, and the CPU load is still under 23-24. That's great. So I will also decrease a little bit this value of PaySafe. Reconnect, and let's check a little bit the PID. As you can see, my receiver is not yet centered because the logo, the avatar is turning, but I will first in the PID probably increase a little bit the rate here. Okay, something around 800 degrees will be fine for me, and add to have more linear for the radar command, so I'm around 600, so it's perfect for me. Probably decrease a little bit the level strength for angle and both horizon. Okay, that's great. I will save these features, and I didn't touch yet the PID settings. I will try to fly with by default. So as you can see, my receiver channels are not yet correctly centered to the value of 1500. So I will have to play with the mixer, okay, and to center all channel to this value. So with that, I'm center everything, so like this, and I will do the same for the all the 4 channels. So I have to remove the offset, yes, like this, and the same for the throttle. Okay, so for the 0. Okay, and finally for the last command, so we have around like this, and as you can see now, nothing is moving, so it's armed. So I will apply a deadband, okay, to be sure. The same for the yaw deadband, okay, and I will save. I will export in any case the RSSI in channel 5 if I want to plug an OSD, but there is no way. Let's check now the default flight mode. So I will inverse the behavior. So I will go down here for the angle mode, and I will now just want to be in acro to add for both horizon and acro the air mode, okay, like this, and no anti-gravity because it's only available from Betaflight 3.1.7, okay. But as you can see now, when I am in angle, when the flight mode switch is in up position, when in the middle I'm in horizon, and when I'm down I'm a pure acro. Okay, so that's fine. So as I said, no bother, but there will be a way to increase a little bit the sound emitted by the ESC, okay, thanks to the Bell configurator. We will check now. Okay, so this is the BLLS configurator to check the current version installed. So I will need to replug the LiPo battery, okay, and I will press connect and then press on the read setup, and we have probably the last version of BLLS suite. So 16.6, that's great. We can turn on the brake and stop, and what we can do if you plan to fly this quadcopter in outdoors condition, we can increase the beacon strength, something around 180, let's say, okay, and decrease the beacon delay to 2 minutes, okay, and write the setup. Okay, so now after 2 minutes of inactivity, the ESC will emit some beep. So what I will do is to disconnect. Okay, and I will reconnect, and the ESC are emitting a little bit more noise. Maybe will be enough to find it around a radius of 2 meters. But thanks to the telemetry also forecasted by the FreeSky G8 module, you will be able also to localize your quadcopter thanks to a RSSI value display on your radio. Okay, so now it's time to play with and to check how good is this machine in FPV. Let's go!